There you go. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Jacqueline with She Rises Studios, and I'd like to welcome you again. Today, we're diving into the She Wins Nice Girls Finish First, a powerful new anthology that's more than just a book, it's a movement. Joined by some of the incredible authors of this book, we're shining a light on what it really means to rise with kindness, lead with heart, and win without compromising who you are. So let's get ready for a heartfelt panel discussion packed with resilience, real talk, and proof that yes, nice girls really do finish first. All right, so to get this started, why don't we go around the studio here and give us a little background of, introduce yourself, who you are, and what inspired you to be part of She Wins Nice Girls Finish First. Maybe we could go with Erica first.
Great, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I think this is a beautiful, important movement. I think, first off, I'm a counselor over 30 years. I'm a brain health coach. I'm a speaker. And I feel like in the times that we've been living, we went from after the Me Too movement, which needed to happen, it felt like a lot of people went to very aggressive kinds of coming out kinds of things of getting aggressive and being that mean girl spirit, right? And even with each other. And so it felt like it was one of those things that as the She Wins movement came up, it's a need in our culture for us to come back to a place of, look, we can all rise together, we can help one another. And so that's why I decided to write in this book. I think that it's really important and for generations to come.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that, Erica. Let's go to Tammy.
Hello, my name is Tammy. I'm in Toronto, Ontario. I'm a teacher. I'm a holistic health practitioner and educator. And I chose to participate in this exact anthology because the movement spoke to me so strongly. I think it is such a powerful conversation that is needed for women and for girls. And I think it makes a difference in our day-to-day lives, the choices that we make. And there are so many small choices along the way that we have the opportunity to make that can really make a strong difference in the lives of others. So that's why I'm here today. Thank you all.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tammy, and thank you for being part of this very powerful movement. Yeah.
Hi everyone, so I'm Hanya. So I'm a content creator and I'm also in community services as well. So I'm residing in Brampton, Ontario in Canada. So the reason why I went with She Wins anthology is because I think these stories need to be told. Like while growing up, I've been bullied, but I've been like in the last almost 10, 15 years, I've been more bullied from my own cousins. So from my dad's side and from my mom's side. So I wanted to bring that. With my dad's side, it's a popularity contest, which I mentioned earlier. With my mom's side, it was to do with a guy. So that's where all my cousins bullied me because I wanted to marry this cousin of mine. And well, I'm not going to disclose his name, but it starts with S, but it's like, it didn't work out. So it's like, I got, for over 10 years, I dealt with it. And I was like, just so tired of that. I want to let that story out.
I see, I see. Well, I'm sure it will be a very inspiring story, and we can't wait to read it. But before we do that, let's go to Sonia first.
Sure. So my name is Sonia Rodriguez, and I am in New Jersey. I'm a psychotherapist and a women's life transition coach. I'm also an author and a speaker. I've written in a number of anthologies with the She Rises Studios. I'm also a managing partner with the She Wins Women's Network, which is a big part of this book as well. It's a wonderful membership community that really supports women in business who are looking to level up in their business and has a number of different resources. And I joined this anthology because I'm one of the managing partners of the She Wins Women's Network, and also because I think it's so important to remind women that we are not competing with each other and that we really need to continue to support one another, share our ideas, share our resources, and continuously be there for one another, and that we are not in competition and we are not here to badmouth or gossip about one another, but really just to empower each other. And so I thought it was important to really be a part of this process to remind women that we need to really change our ways sometimes and come from a place of compassion. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you, Sonia. Let's go to Megan.
Hi, everybody. My name is Megan Dirks, and I'm a brand strategist and board certified coach on the East Coast of Canada. And I was really called to participate in this specific anthology as someone who has been a chronic overgiver in my life. And that's something as women we're, I think, inclined to do anyway on a good day. And that we need a lot more balance to have that kind of community level, normalize the fact that it's okay to be assertive, especially in business, and it doesn't make you a word or anything that might come up or be thrown around. And it's perfectly normal to stand your ground. So that is the core reason that I chose to participate in this specific anthology. I think it's really important.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that's a very good point, because as women, as we start as girls and become women, there is that natural tendency to just really be nice to everyone and just almost give ourselves away. And then sometimes we have to balance things out. So that's a very good point, Megan. Well, this particular story is not just us talking about, being nice and all, but there's a lot of story about triumph. What is one major challenge that you've overcome in your life, and how kindness or compassion played a role of all throughout that journey? Who would like to share first? Yes, Anya.
So, in my opinion, the way how I went and to where I am now with all the bullying I dealt with, I just stuck to my passion. So, as you know, I love to write. I've done anthologies as well. So I kept on going for that. I didn't think about that how's it going to affect me later on. I just no, I have to write a book, so I'm going to write it. So I didn't care that if the very same people who bullied me all my life were telling me no, not to mention the story, I'm no, I want to speak about it. I know there's other women who dealt with cousins of their family bullying them, so I want to share my story. I know there's women that have similar stories. So I was no, I'm going to write it.
That's wonderful. That's true. Sometimes you just have to find someone that relates to your story for you to find the courage to do something for yourself. That's great. What about Tammy?
Yeah, so one thing I have overcome and still continue to work on is shyness. And I'm a teacher, and often when I tell people I'm shy in my personal world, they really don't believe me. But I had to learn to speak up when I really, really just wanted to stay quiet and slink away off into the corner and be by myself. And I learned that at a young age out of necessity. And as you'll see in my chapter, my story started young when I was in kindergarten. And then speaking up for others who I also saw with similar personality and wanted to just shrink into the background in a safe and comfortable place, but knowing that the situation really wasn't right, and learning how to use words, when to speak up, and how to present your ideas in a meaningful way to be of assistance.
That's great. That's great, because sometimes it's just it's easier to be just at the background and not
And
say a thing.
comfortable. Yes.
Comfortable,
Yeah.
safe. You feel that you have that safety space. But that shouldn't be the case, right? And I know Erica has a lot of challenges as well in her own life. So can you share one specific event in your life?
Sure. So I would say probably as a child, I dealt with the same things of difficulties with just knowing even how to have healthy friendships, right? And when conflict would happen, I would either go all the way to one side and just, be a doormat, or I would go to the other side and try to, I didn't know it was assertiveness, but try to assert myself, and maybe it might come across aggressive, but wasn't my idea to do that. But what I found was I just didn't know the skills, and nobody taught me how to do those things. It's not as it should be something taught in school, but it's not taught how to navigate conflict, how to navigate friendships, what's healthy, what's unhealthy. And so I wrote this really with my daughter in mind, and talked about how teaching her, and then even wrote some steps for what is healthy, what's unhealthy. It's okay that you don't have to be friends with everyone. Not, you can make decisions if people don't line up with and adhere to your boundaries, and how to teach her how to set up boundaries and things like that. And so I've done that in my adult life, but wanted to share that with her because I didn't have that.
That's true. And sometimes oftentimes we need guidance on how to do it right, but society doesn't really teach us. We don't openly talk about it at home or in school, and so it's nice to have this particular platform, or book that people can go to, women specifically can go to, and realize that I can do something. There is something for me to
Mhm.
work around this difficulty. On that particular note, we often think that resilience is being tough, or toughness. How do you define? Maybe I can ask Megan and Sonia. How would you define resilience in a nice girl way? Or is this something that has also been a challenge for you? Yeah, we can maybe try start with Megan.
Sure, I'll take a shot at that first. I would say on the resilience front, for me, when I think about this, it comes down to a lot of values and really holding close to what those mean to you for your character. Because I think whether we're young girls or young adults or full on professionals, whatever chapter in our life, we're always faced with these situations at some point. And I like to think of them as little like reminder tests where you're put in situations where maybe someone else is being a little rude or mean or catty towards somebody else. And maybe that other person isn't in the room. And you need to decide if you're going to bandwagon onto that behind someone's back, or if you're going to check that behavior and shut it down and not participate in it. And I really feel like what you do behind closed doors is a practice and a muscle build, because we are trained to kind of band together. And that starts in school for girls, right? Talking behind each other's back and being mean and little cliques and stuff like that. So recently, from a leadership angle, I had just come off the back of running a book anthology with She Rises with my own 21 ladies. And even within that, had to hold very firm when people were trying to come at me and go around each other. And frankly, some of them know better. Some of them have credentials in wellness and definitely know better. And some of them don't have the communication tools to know better yet. So very mixed group. And I think just holding firm to your own values is really, really important.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. And I totally agree with that. Sonia, you have something to share?
Yeah, I mean, certainly a great definition as well. As a therapist, we talk a lot about resilience, and this is something I've written quite a bit about. But it's so important to understand why we go through our struggles and our hardships, and to make sense of them and reflect, and think about how we want to move forward. And so I look at challenges and obstacles as teachable moments. And I think that part of being resilient is, how do you get through it? And how do you recognize that there are going to be these moments in life, and you're going to just need to rise above them and keep going forward, and using those opportunities as an opportunity for reflection. And so how do we recover from that? And I think it's so important to teach this at a young age, so recognizing that, everyone is faced with certain challenges and adversities, and what do we do, or what can we do to rise above them? So I think that is super important. And I think a lot of the books and the anthologies that She Rises Studios puts out really allows us to emphasize the topic of resilience and how do we rise above all of these different challenges.
That's wonderful. I love that. With that, I'll ask everyone, what impact do you hope for She Wins to the readers, to all of your readers? What impact do you want, or what do you want them to take away from this particular book? Anya.
Okay, so I'm going to say the takeaway is that there's more household stories that are stories from the home about bullying that needs to be told. So that's what I want to give the readers a takeaway from, because I can't be the only one. I'm pretty sure there's about 2,000 more women that have the same story, or maybe 5,000.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, who would like to go next? Yes.
I would say that the hope with all of these anthologies is that there are readers who can resonate with some of them and not feel that they're alone, recognizing, wow, this happened to this person and this is how they dealt with it. And so feeling like they're not alone, and that they can connect and hopefully learn from some of the things that all of the writers have to say. So I hope that they can just connect with the stories, and hopefully take some little nuggets of information and use that in their own life.
That's true. That's true. We're never alone. Yes, Erica.
I also just hope that the readers, and I absolutely agree, I want and believe that it's so important for us not to feel alone, but also I hope that if there are women who have daughters, that they think about, yeah, like, did I ever get taught this? And maybe I should teach them, maybe it's something that, as I teach them, it's then a skill that they get to carry on. And so I really hope that people think about education of, like, or this friend that I had, maybe they didn't grow up learning communication skills. Maybe we can have a conversation around it. And so I think it would be awesome if, when people read these stories, that they're thinking, is this something that I could level up in my life? And could I have conversations with people on that, so that I do help educate other persons, and also that I participate in that, in making the change myself?
That's true. And and I love that we are not just focused on the readers themselves, and that whatever the tool they get from reading this book is something that they can share to people around them, to girls, to their daughters, to their friends. So that's wonderful, Erica. Tammy, do you have what impact do you hope that this book will have on other people?
I hope that this book brings comfort and a safe place for conversation. And I want to echo Sonia's sentiment as well, for anyone struggling, that you're not alone. And the world and interactions are not always kind, but there's a way to supersede, and you don't have to remain in struggle. So take the path forward that's presented to you when it feels right for you, and join the conversation.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Having that feeling that you're part of a community, you're not alone in your struggles, is actually very comforting. Thank you, Tammy. Megan?
Yeah, a big takeaway for me would be, I think, encouraging girls, women of all ages to, as early as possible, start to redefine what nice means in the first place. And be able to navigate kind of away from overgiving chronically and building resentment and getting into that aggressive territory, as Erica mentioned earlier too, where sometimes I refer to them as like mean healers, like they've healed and gone a little too far and we need to pull them back a bit. So if we can get that process down, a lot of my chapter speaks to learning how to be a little more savvy in how you're being nice.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Thank you, Megan. We actually just, well, another Sonia just joined us, Sonia McDonald. So I'll call you Sonia M. We have a Sonia R. So, Sonia, we're just talking about what impact would you she wins will have on your readers.
Oh, this book is just amazing. Thank you for having me here. I would just say that the impact I want to share is just that you don't have to play small. With kindness, you can still be kind, but we're all created for greatness, and just to every single woman, and that to step into the highest version of ourselves and walk with a purpose. We all have one, and don't let any environment, any work environment, any place that you've been uh, take that away from you, in corporate or any kind of job that you're in. Because I, working as a nurse before, I had that where you could be in toxic environments, and it's okay to walk away. That is your strength. It doesn't make you weak. It's actually I tell my daughter that too. Like, if you have to walk away from a friend or somebody that's not treating you well, that's knowing your self-worth is everything. And so I think just all of us to really hold on and understand that about ourselves is really a really big takeaway. And just, we don't have to ask for permission, and we're allowed to use our voice, and that's just our strength. And that's what I really want to help everybody to learn, to know that's what's in ourselves.
That's true. That's true. And sometimes, people think that if you're standing your ground, you're not being nice anymore, but you can actually be the same. I'm
Right.
standing my
Still be
ground.
kind, and yes.
Yes, that's true. Thank you. So
Thank
we'll
you.
do a little fun little lightning round game here. I'll ask a question and then maybe we can go through real quick. Give me an answer as quickly as you can. We'll go with I'll go on the rotation, the arrangement I have on my screen here. So we'll ask Erica first, and then Tammy, Sonia M, Sonia R, and then Megan. Okay, great. So the first question is: are you guys ready? Yes. All right. First question is: give me one word that describes your journey in writing this book.
Oh, that like puts me on the spot. One word to my journey.
One word, yes.
Maybe empowered. Empowered, I would say.
Wonderful. Next, Tammy.
Reflection.
Reflection. Yeah. Thank you, Sonia M.
Courage.
Courage. Thank you, Sonia R.
Compassion.
Passion. Wonderful, Megan.
Growth.
Growth. That's wonderful. And these are all wonderful words that, it's a very nice feeling, knowing that I'm sure there's difficulty when you start writing your own chapter, but knowing that there are empowerment and there's courage and all of these wonderful things that goes along in writing each of your chapters is actually a nice thing to do, or a nice thing to know. Next question. Are you guys ready? Uh, Erica, I'm so sorry to put you on the spot having you to answer first.
I'll go
But
out and come back in. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
okay, so can you share your personal motto, maybe, or a mantra that is reflective of this particular book?
On this particular one, I would say be blessed and be a blessing. I tell people that all the time. It's just my mantra is be blessed and be a blessing. Like, know you are blessed and be a blessing to others.
Nice. Tammy?
Keep going and speak up when you need to.
It's true. Sonia M.
Shine your light, and that'll transform your life. Just being that light within yourself.
Awesome. Sonia R.
You can do anything with the right support and the right confidence, right amount of confidence.
I agree. Megan?
Learn how to be nice early and smart.
That's great. That's great. So, last question for this particular game. Can you share a book, a podcast, a resource that had helped you, that kind of pivoted, helped you change your life, your outlook in when it comes to being nice and being compassionate, being kind to the people around you? Let's start with Erica. You can think one.
So I would probably, it's interesting that you say this. So I would say Attached by Dan Siegel. Excuse me, not Dan Siegel. Sorry, by Tatkin. By Tatkin. I can't think of his first name right this second. Dr. Tatkin talks about attachments, and I have come to work with so many thousands of people over the years that I understand that a lot of what happens to them and their communication skills is truly because of the attachment style that they've adopted from the childhood that they grew up in. And so I love Stan Tatkin, that's his name, Dr. Stan Tatkin, lots of YouTube stuff, which will teach you a lot of communication skills. And his book Attached teaches a lot about the different attachment styles. And I would also say, if you're looking for him to help you with relationships, he has a book called Wired for Love. And it truly tells you about the neurobiology of attachments and how to communicate through that. So that would be mine.
That's great. Thank you. Tammy?
I love The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom because it shows the interconnectedness of all of our relationships. And even when we think some interaction may be insignificant or trivial, it has a critical importance in the lives of others.
Oh, that's nice. I love that book, actually.
It's a good one.
Sonia?
I'm going to go with Jamie Kern Lima with Worthy, and just really everything starts within ourselves. And that's kind of really her podcast, and all of her readings have been really instrumental in my just everything that I do. So
Great. Thank you. Next, Sonia.
Such great books. I want to highlight what Erica said about attachment styles. If you don't know about attachment styles, it will change your life. So read whatever you can about understanding your own attachment style and those of your friends and family. So that is essential. But I would say anything by Brene Brown. I love her, but certainly Rising Strong, how the ability to reset transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead. So that's one of my favorites.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Megan?
One of my favorite gems is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And I think that came out back in like the 30s originally, and got reworked a couple times since then. But a lot of it is based around how to be genuinely kind and interested sincerely in people and listening well and just in a way that shows appreciation and creates likability and trust and just sincere social grace.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll have to look for that. Awesome. So just before we wrap things up, do you have anything next after this book? Are you working on a current project? Is there anything you'd like to share? If people wanted to reach out to you, how can they do that? Who would like to go first? I know Erica has a lot in line for her. Yes, who would like to go first? Sonia?
Sure. There's a number of books coming out, but I Rise Above is coming out soon for anyone. I think most of us were in the heart of a mother that just released. So I would definitely highlight those books. And you can contact me at transitionalwellness.com, and I would love to hear from you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Megan? Oh, sorry. Yes.
can go ahead, Erica.
No, it's okay. That's what you're. No worries. Well,
Okay.
I would just say you can reach out to me at warriorheartxo@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook. I will have a book coming out in July called Breath of Heaven, Manifesting God's Way. It's a republished of the first one that I published with She Rises, and I have a lot of other anthologies. You can look me up on Amazon under the author's course and find some of the other anthologies. And I would say all the She Wins, She Rises anthologies that are out there, not just the ones that I'm in, are amazing. So I encourage anyone to pick those up. You will find them as a gift to your heart.
Great, great.
And I'll jump in on the back of that as well for another She Rises anthology, which is also one that I led and brought to life with the help of the team. And that is the Girl on the Left book, where we flip the script on before and after stories and really show radical self-love to past versions of ourselves and our messier chapters that we don't like to talk about. So around that community, there is the book itself, which is out globally on Amazon. And there's also the podcast where we interview the girls and let them go way more in depth on their story without a word count on it. And all of that can be found girlontheleft.com or hello@thegirlontheleft.com for email.
You can go with either Sonia or Tammy.
I'll go ahead and go, if that's okay. I have a solo book, my first solo book coming out in later in July called Unshakable, Unlocking Your Blueprint to Living Well Despite Any Limitations, Health, Physical, Mental. So just really kind of my blueprint to share with the world to help others to navigate through that. And I'm in 6 other anthologies that'll be coming out throughout the year. Too many to name, but really excited to be in all of She Rises for all of them. So, and you can reach me at soniamcdonald.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Exciting time.
Very exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome. Last but not least, Tammy.
Yeah, so you can contact me through web form on website, comstrategy.ca. My contact information is also inside She Wins. And next project releasing for me is in July, which is part of the She Rises Studios anthology, Unleash Her, the Next Chapter, which is all about standing within your own power, letting your light shine, and living your best life. So hope to see you there for that one too.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very nice. Well, I'm very excited for all of you, and not just for this book, but for the coming projects that you will have. As a final word, what what are your maybe final words of encouragement for everyone that listening or that will be listening to this particular discussion?
I would just absolutely say together we can change the world. It is possible.
Kindness wins.
Find the right connections.
When you choose yourself first, when you step into your power, you don't win, you thrive.
And mine would be a quick invitation to just keep an eye out for how many times during the run of a day or a week you notice women be a little jabby towards each other, and then actually intercept and do something.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, these are wonderful, very encouraging uh points that I believe everybody can, take into heart. Thank you so much for spending your time and sharing your hearts with me and with everybody that's listening out there. Well, what an inspirational conversation with these incredible women authors. Your stories remind us of strength, at the same time kindness, and that they are not opposites. They're actually they can be a powerful combination. So for you guys that have been listening, if you loved what you heard, there's so much more waiting for you in the She Wins Nice Girls Finish First the ebook is now available in Amazon. So if you haven't done it yet, please grab a copy. You can go to Amazon.com, search for She Wins, Nice Girls Finish First. You can download it, and hopefully their stories will empower you and lift you and remind you that being true to yourself is always the best way to win. Thanks again, everyone. Take care and stay inspired.
Thank
Bye.
you.